Hello everyone, Thempirian here with the new points update for Genesys. This is just one of those ones they do where they have a new set coming out and they want to give points to it right away to avoid any broken cards. This time it's for Magnificent Monsters, the most recent set coming out soon. And this set is really interesting because it has that first wave of the frame breaks that we've been looking at for quite a while, which all those frame breaks that they were doing for the Heroes collection and the Villains collection were pretty strong, especially for Genesys format, a lower power format, right? Where like even a card that was a little less on the power level is going to be pretty strong here, right? So we have to put some points on them. Now, Magnificent Monsters has cards from the Heroes side, and then later there's going to be a set that has the Villains cards. I believe if I remember correctly, the Speedroid Clearwing is going to be in that later selection, the Villains pack. So no idea on what the points are going to be on that for now. But we can go ahead and look at what the points are for Magnificent Monsters. First up, we have Kuriboh Multiply to 10. For those who don't know, Kuriboh Multiply is a very strong card. It is a hand trap, lets you activate it to special summon itself from the hand. And then once a monster activates a monster effect on the field, so this is when a monster activates a monster effect. So a monster effect happens, multiplying Kuriboh hits the field, and then the opponent activates a monster effect on the field, or the attack. You get to special summon out or add to the hand a Dark Magician or a monster with 300, 200 defense. And then change that opponent's monster's attack to 0, so it can help stop an attack. But more importantly, it can get out something. Actually, I could probably just do, if I just scroll down, should be able to see it right there. Detonating Kuriboh. It can also get a bunch of other things. So like if you're playing a deck that has 300, 200 stats, obviously in advance, that means stuff like Power Patrons. But in the Genesys, you don't have pendulums, right? So you can get some of the Power Patron stuff, the non-pendulum stuff, like the Elf Note Power Patron or stuff like that. But you can also get out stuff like Detonating Kuriboh, or you can get out like Skull Servant, stuff like that, But Detonating Kuriboh is the more general application. So basically, it's not great as like a thing, because like what it is you go Kuriboh Multiply, it hits the field, and then they do another effect on the field without getting rid of the multiply in some way. And then you get the Detonating Kuriboh out, and the Detonating Kuriboh doesn't negate. It equips itself to... Wait, actually, that's what you have to... So... Sorry. What happens is you have to go Kuriboh Multiply. It hits the field. Then they activate a monster effect in the field. Use the effect of multiplying Kuriboh to special summon out Detonating Kuriboh. And then Detonating Kuriboh, when an opponent activates a monster effect on the field, equips itself to that monster and negates it. It's a 3, you have to wait for 3 monster activations. So not incredible, but it was able to do some stuff in the Rolad deck, the ladder deck, because you could use the Detonating Kuriboh, or you could get Griefo if you didn't have Griefo yet. In Genesys, ladder has a harder time with that, but if multiplying Kuriboh is left unhit, it means you just have 3 copies of Griefo for going second. Whereas Griefo is points, right? So you have to keep that in mind. If you want... Oh, how do they spell it? Do they just spell it Griefo? They do. Griffo. Okay. It is points, although Yu-Gi Pro Deck won't tell us because their point system is fucked. If you want the points on Griefo to matter, you have to have points on multiplying Kuriboh as well. It's also not a bad card in Dark Magician. It just gets you a Dark Magician. It's like fine. But what's a much better card in Dark Magician is Dark Magical Curtain. This is E-Tele for the entire deck. It can also get you Diabellstar. And the Diabellstar's effects won't be able to activate, but you will be able to activate them if you bring her back to the field after you send her to the graveyard to make the Dark Magician fusion monster that's basically a Link one. It's a crazy tech that's going to be very, very, very well represented in the advanced format. And it makes sense that they put this to 30. E-Tele is at 33 still, I think. It's a shame that all of our online databases are just breaking down. Oh, you know who probably has it? Simorg. This is my Speedroid deck right now. Don't worry about it. But we could look at what Griefo's at 10, so yeah, it makes sense to make Mulgrowing Kuriboh as 10 as well, because it's just more copies of Griefo, essentially. Not as fast, but still. It does, and it has more utility beyond that. So it makes sense, perfect sense for me to, for it to be at 10. What was I going to look up before? It was something to do with Magical Curtain. I don't remember. It was something to do with Dark Magical Curtain. I've just completely lost my train of thought on that. Oh, E-Tele, Emergency Teleport. 25. Okay, so it's 25. So 5 points above E-Tele kind of makes sense, because what E-Tele doesn't allow... E-Tele is dealing with the pool of psychics, which there's good psychics, but spellcasters is a whole other issue because of what the hell is his name? Yeah, Dark Magician of Destruction. 15 points. So together it's 45. If you run 3 copies of Dark Magical Curtain, you can't run Dark Magician of Destruction, which I think is what they wanted to do. That makes perfect sense to me, honestly. This card is fucking insane. I played around with this in Rush, or not Rush Duel. Not in Rush Duel. No way would they ever put this in Rush Duel. In Rivalry format, in the Dark Magician deck, and the sheer power level of Dark Magical Curtain consistency tools made it like I'm a big advocate for consistency. Dark Magical Curtain is so much more powerful beyond the pale than most consistency tools. It makes sense to me. It's a 30-pointer, honestly. Wing Kuriboh Sabatiel, level 10. It searches any fusion in the deck, but you get locked into heroes. So it's a hero tool. The hero deck's already pretty strong. It makes sense to me to put it at 7. 7 is a perfectly fine level for a consistency tool to be at, I think. I can maybe see it going down lower, but like, it searches any fusion for hero, so yeah. Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary at 15 is very reasonable, I think. Stardust Dragon Victim Sanctuary is a very powerful card. I'm actually considering trying to build... I'm not very super familiar with Synchron as a deck, but I'm kind of formulating in my mind a like Stardust Synchron deck that's low to the ground and just kind of makes this asshole. Right? They've got new tools for a lot of recent releases, and Victim Sanctuary is just, if opponent activates a card effect in response to your card effect activation, treat this card negate the effect. That's pretty good. If you have some other interruption on the board, this protects your interruption to make sure it actually goes through. Really interesting. And then it gets out another Stardust Synchro monster from the extra deck after it does its thing. Really cool. And if they Lava Golem it still does the same thing. It says if a monster in your possession was tributed this turn. So if they Lava Golem your board, it works. I love that protection, because I ran into an issue with Lava Golem in a recent duel against a Draco Tail opponent. It was out of characters. And in my Speedroid deck. And this kind of effect is really, really cool for dealing with that. Star Junk Synchron to 1. This makes sense to me. It summons from the hand to help you do some synchro plays. I don't think it's crazy enough to really be a concern. Synchro Emergency is a little bit more of a concern. But I think 5 points pretty much hits it where it needs to be. It's like a turn 0 play. But you do have, if you want to actually get the full value out of it, you do have to wait until they actually make an extra deck monster, which means they have an opportunity to respond. So I think that's a cool back and forth for the synchro deck, for the Synchron deck to have. I like that. Number 39, Utopia, Emissary of Light, is, and also Gaga Magician, Gaga Magic, I think are both just attempts to stem the tide of the rank 4 deck that they've been struggling to hit for a long time now. The rank 4 deck just keeps cropping up and getting new tools and new tools and new tools. And I think they're just tired of it, so they're hitting these cards ahead of time. Emissary of Light isn't so crazy to think. It does have a Yugioh Guardian effect on it, while also being a rank 4 you can easily make. Gaga Magic makes it really easy to, it's just another rank 4 engine, right? It's just yet another rank 4 engine that already ties into one they had to hit already. Additionally, they didn't hit the Gaga Girl card, Gaga Girl Subtraction or whatever, cell phone subtraction. Yeah, Gaga Girl cell phone subtraction, which is like it's not a turn 0 play because you have to have another monster on board. But if you have, like, say, a multiplying Kuriboh or a Vidralis, if you want to pay 50 points for Vidralis. But one of those cards that can, quick effect summon themselves to the field, right? If you have that kind of thing in your deck anyways, this is an interesting tool that can help you get more turn 0 stuff going. This could even be a consistency tool if you want to use a K9 package. Like, you want to spend a lot of points on the K9 package. This is free. Lets you help that be more, available. I don't know. It's an interesting card, and they didn't point this one. I'm pretty sure it's in this set, so I'm excited to see what you can do with that. But I think with that not getting points, and then these two getting a little bit of points, 5 for an extra deck monster is pretty minimal, and then 6 on the actual engine guy, which is a similar position to Big Jaws. What was Big Jaws at? Didn't Big Jaws get points? Well, I know Dododo Warrior got points. 70? When did Dododo Warrior become 70 points? I don't remember that. I gotta be real. I don't remember it going to 70. Oh, not that. Oh my god. Anyways, it seems like a reasonable amount of points. It's just 6 points. With 3 of them, that's 18. That's close to 20, which is about a fifth of your points. Going into a rank 4 tool seems reasonable, I think. Rainbow Bridge Bifrost is basically like terraforming, but it has an extra deck cost. Like, you gotta run some bad cards in your extra deck. I was kind of hoping they would just have this one be like 1 point, but 10 honestly is probably where it should be. I just thought it'd be funny to make people pay the extra deck cost to get their field spells. And then Malefic Paradigm Shift is really stupid. This card is just it just does everything, but for a terrible, terrible, terrible deck. So it places Malefic World in the deck from the deck or graveyard onto the field, and then summons a Malefic monster from deck or extra deck in defense position, ignoring some summoning conditions. And then if your opponent controls a monster with 2,500 or more attack, all face monsters they control lose 2,500 attack until the end of this turn. You can activate this card for your hand by paying half your life points. You only have to activate 1 Malefic Paradigm Shift per turn. There is no lock on this. There's no lock on this. So all it requires is for you to have 3 of this card in your deck, the card you want to have in your hand, 1 copy of Malefic World in your deck. Maybe you want to have 2 to avoid drawing into it and turning the card off, which that could be an issue, right? And then a Malefic monster in your extra deck, because it says it can summon from the extra deck. You can put fucking Malefic Paradigm Truth Dragon or whatever the fuck it's called into the extra deck. And now you just have an instant guy on field. Now you might be wondering, what are you doing with that instant guy on the field? Well, that can depend. You can do some stuff with like the tuner. You can have the tuner in your main deck and do some interesting stuff with that. But that's a lot of bricks in main to deal, have with this card. What I think is more likely is that it can establish a guy on board for you to do turn 0 plays in ladder decks, because it can summon a guy with 2,500 or more attack, right? And so, or do they care about levels? Something like that. They care about you can summon a fucking guy that has like infinite levels, infinite attack. He's like got 4,000 attack or some shit. And like he's level 10, I think. Malefic. Malefic Paradigm Dragon, 4,000 attack. That looks like a level 10 to me, yeah. So it should satisfy all the conditions. So you could also get like Cyber End Dragon. Cyber End Dragon would only require would be fine. And also if you draw into Cyber End Dragon, you can just summon it by having Cyber End Dragon in your extra deck, right? And then that can make a way for you to have a 1 trap card that you can play from your hand whenever you want. That can either get you an instant card for your ladder deck to bounce back to hand to put out a ritual instantly, or you can use it as a board wipe. Well, board wipe's a strong term because I don't think any of these things can attack more than once. They're all really terrible cards. But it does give you a big guy, and then it lowers the attacks of their guys, making it easier for your big guy to get over them and clear a potentially troublesome monster before you go into your combo. So I think that's why they put it to 8. It's honestly the one that I'm like the most about, but considering like it kind of feels like a card that could be broken at any point. Like any time now it could be broken, and I don't like that. So I'm okay with them starting at 8 and seeing where they go from here. I imagine they'll probably take off points from it at some point, and then they will put them back on when they inevitably break this card. There will come a day where they break this card, but I don't think it's anytime soon. But I could be wrong on that. There might be something that I'm missing as far as that goes. I gotta say, considering all the points on here, I'm really happy with the direction that the points lists are going. The points all make sense to me in one way or another. And I'm really, really liking this. The past couple of set updates, I guess I have to find some way to describe them. So there's like tournament updates and set updates. How about that? The last couple of set updates specifically have been really, really, really good. I feel like maybe we missed a little bit on the blitz click, on like the first wave of the blitz click, but not so much so that it wasn't, it isn't fixable. Obviously, we did a little bit more in the tournament update. Could probably have tuned it just a little bit more beyond that, but that could be for next list, right? I don't hate that, honestly. Let Blitzclick have a little bit of time being the best deck. It's a perfectly fine deck to be best deck, right? And then slowly bring it back in line with everything else as you tune out, figure out how you need to tune that deck, right? I really like where we're at right now with these. I imagine these points will shift a little bit. Multiply could probably come down just a smidge. Sabatiel might come down. I'm not sure about that one. Dark Magical Curtain, I think, stays right where it's at. Oh, Utopia Emissary of Light might come down, but like every choice in here feels extremely defensible. Like from my perspective, and my perspective is about maximizing the amount of fun. It doesn't have nothing to do with data or any bullshit like that. It's just about maximizing the amount of fun that people are having while playing. And from my perspective, as far as that goes, everything here is perfectly defensible. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty damn happy with that. So Well, this isn't like a super impactful list. I feel like it is important, surely, certainly, because Dark Magical Curtain was going to be a problem, in particular, and the Victim Sanctuary could possibly have been as well. It's not super impactful outside of that, but it's very indicative to me that we are on the correct path. It really feels like, and I'll get into this in a video I'm going to be putting up on the main channel at some point soon. Hopefully next month. We're gonna see. My wrist has been acting up this month, but I really feel like the Genesys team is finding where they want the format to be finally. Or it took them like a couple of months, or I guess kind of almost a year, to get to this point. But they are really dialing in where they want the format to be now, and I feel that way at least, and I'm pretty excited about that because that's the sweet spot. That's where it's going to be really what I want the format to be. I'm really excited about that. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know, what do you think about these points? Do you think that they missed anything? I'm thinking about the Gaga girl, right? They could have put points on that potentially, but I think it's fine. But like, maybe you don't agree. Maybe there's some other ones you think were missed. Obviously, they didn't hit the... They didn't hit the astrograph. What are we going to do about that? No. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey there, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I got a lot more for you if you want them. Just hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get notifications. I'd also appreciate if you left me a like and a comment, and maybe shared the video around with your friends. You can also follow me on all the usual social media sites, and find my other YouTube channels and Twitch channel by checking out my website in the description below for all those links. My videos are funded by my patrons, Ko-fi subscribers, and YouTube members whose names you'll see scrolling by in these credits here. For just $1 a month, you too can find yourself here, trapped in my end screen for all eternity, among other benefits. In particular, I'd like to thank Jeremy Coatney, Frog Prince Michael, Beastsman, Beelzis, Fleekill, Fire Mizumi, Golden Nova, Haru Hayes, Squish, and the almighty Ferret Lord. A big thanks to all my other patrons and to my little community as a whole. Remember to be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and have a wonderful whatever time it is for you. Bye!